There's a lot going on with you right now. You have to meet with people from the child welfare system. Your children may have gone into foster care, or you may be afraid that it will happen. Your children may also be feeling all that's happening. Some of the things that led to child welfare getting involved may also have affected your children. Even very young children are affected by what happens to them. That's why I'm talking to you today. We're not going to discuss the allegations that have been made in your case. We will not be going into detail about the legal aspects or discuss your rights. Your attorney can assist you with those questions. What this video focuses on is what's most important in your life, your child. We'll talk about how a young child develops, especially his or her brain. We'll talk about how traumatic events may have affected the way your child is growing and developing. We'll briefly talk about the court process and why courts get involved. And then we'll talk about ways you can help in your child's healthy development. One thing that's certain is that everyone involved in your case wants what's best for your child, but you want it most of all, and learning what's necessary for your child's development is the best start.
I'm Dr. Mark Hald, and I'm a licensed psychologist in private practice here in Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Most of my work is with children and families, pretty much 12 and younger. You know, parents are so important to their children. And I think as parents sometimes we don't fully understand how critically important we are to their development. The first 3 years of life is so critical. The child's brain isn't done developing through the first, particularly 3 years, but even on up into 5, 6 years of life. And so it's really important, particularly in early childhood, that the child has very responsive caregiving. They feel safe and secure because that sets the stage for the rest of life. The child and the mother and the father have thousands and thousands of interactions where the baby, the young child gets stressed and we respond to them, we change their diaper, we feed them, they fall down, we kiss their knees. And over time they realize that, wow, this is pretty cool. If I get hurt, somebody's going to take care of me. Which over time helps them be able to self-regulate and soothe themselves. One of the things that's really important for parents to understand is how powerful their relationship is with their children. Our human brains are social brains, and they develop in the context of relationships with mother and father, grandparents, and we call those family networks, social networks. When those networks get disrupted because of moves, divorce, domestic violence, drug and alcohol, the safety and security part of those cause disruptions in the safe, secure attachments that parents have with their children.
My name is Doug Johnson. I'm a juvenile judge in Douglas County. Their sense of time, the child's sense of time, is critical, and the child doesn't even know it. But we will see it in how the child acts or doesn't. Do we have a lack of affect? Do we have a child who is fussy, who will not be held, who is not attached to a parent? They might bite, strike, cannot take instruction, are very fidgety, uncontrollable, and part of that is exactly how they lived from birth. The key then is building on the relationship. Do you have one between parent and child and vice versa? If you don't, can we build one? And what's a reasonable time to do that? Our court's unique. There is not another court like the juvenile court or family courts that deal with this sort of issue, and that is families come to us in crisis. And we are not a criminal court that jails parents, punishes parents, sanctions them, but we work with them in a therapeutic way. Everything we do is to try to help that parent deal with whatever their issue is in a supportive way with accountability so that they can take care of their child. When children go into foster care, it's also very important that the court engages the parent to maintain or establish a relationship with their child. And we can do that through meaningful family time if a child has to be removed. We can encourage a parent to share, even and especially on the first hearing, at the pre-hearing conference and then the protective custody hearing, what that parent knows about their child's special needs. Ideally then, a pre-hearing conference leads to that protective custody hearing where we discuss a number of issues. First of all, can that child safely go home? And if not, why not? So that the parent understands, here's why we're here. Here's why I can't send your baby home today. Once we have that kind of a dialogue, and part of it's the information coming to the court and then the court making findings and articulating for the parent and anybody else, here's why my decision is thus or so. It makes more sense to the parent. And the judge can also encourage the parent with the services that can be offered before anything is found to be true. So substance avowals, psychological avowals, an accredited domestic violence empowerment program and counseling, shelter care if that's best for a parent who's a victim of domestic violence. So it's responsive with a sense of urgency and respect for the family. That disposition then is really the heartbeat of this family's getting better.
You know, one of the things that I would want parents to hear who have just had the traumatic event of having their children taken from their homes is to realize that people really do understand how overwhelming it is for them. But the courts, social services, therapists, doctors, people want to support them, to help them do what they need to do to have their children back in their care.
Family time is lifeblood. That's where they are together, and that's what we want to have be as natural, as normal, as frequent, meaningful as possible. Most of our cases wind up with reunification, and if we start from the first day correctly and we really set up family time that is ample, significant, and safe, makes a huge difference for the well-being of the child and the parent's relationship with that child.
My name is Anna. I'm a recovering addict, and I completed the family drug court process. You know, in the past when I was using, I, would prefer for my daughter to just not be in my face all the time, just to go play by herself. But now, since I've been clean, it's a whole different story. It's like, please be in my face. Be dragging on my ankles when I'm trying to cook dinner at night. I don't care. Like, I want all the time that I can get with my kids because it's so important for them to grow and to learn how to love and to feel, without mom and dad teaching them that, they're never going to learn that.
I am Bridget Schick, and I am an adoptive mother. Play is about connecting with your child on their level. Play therapy has been one means of many. It's been helpful to kind of get into her brain a little bit, see what's going on, how her past has impacted her, how she's processing her world today, how she might process her world in the future, and what tools we can give her to process some of the trauma she's been through. I know that when I come to Dr. Mark's office, I'm going to get some good sound advice on how to interact with Grace in a way that she's going to understand.
And it involves a very strong focus on helping parents understand and realize the impact that they have in their children's lives. And when we talk about that type of mental health, it's about the relationship and the importance of the quality of parent-child interactions.
Another way to support this is having those children into early Head Start or daycare that's quality, and to teach parents about why it's so important to build on that young child's need for that kind of learning environment. Even if a parent is still under the jurisdiction of the court, that doesn't mean that the parent can't attend medical appointments. Doesn't mean that a parent can't attend educational appointments and conferences.
Part of being an effective parent is really being able to read your children's cues. There's no instruction manual, but when you understand their behaviors and what that means, we can start to see the story they're trying to tell us. And that they're trying to tell us, I need you in my life.
Your family has been assigned a caseworker or family permanency specialist. This person will help you do what you need to do to get your kids back. He or she will help you with some of the things we just discussed, like visiting with your child often, finding good childcare, participating in therapy with your child, and attending appointments with doctors, schools, and others. Your caseworker is there for you and your family.
The advice I would give to somebody would be just to keep your mind and your heart open, to realize what graces and what blessings that you do have in your life, and to set all the other not so great blessings aside.
The repair of the damage that's been done is possible, and there's lots of things in place to support you and to help you to be able to do that. And that's really what people want. But it takes some courage, and it's important to remember that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's being able to face your fears and challenges and meet them head on. That's really what courage is, and I hope that's what parents will do.
It's hard getting your kids taken away, but if somebody can, see a video and see me saying, I was in the trenches, but now I'm not because of hard work and dedication, I think that could give them, that would make them realize, like, hey, if she can do it, I can do it.
What we do here is about you and about you having a decent life. It's not about perfection, it's about good enough. And so as soon as I can have your child go home, that's what I want to do. Here are the sorts of things you could do to put yourself in that position.